One of the things I'm asked the most about is Google Drive. Whether you're new to Google Drive and you feel like you're flailing around, or maybe you've been in Google Drive for a while but know that you're not using it to the best of your ability, there's a lot to learn. Take a Google Drive tour and learn about all the possibilities it holds today on Tuesday Tech Training. Hello, and welcome to today's Tuesday Tech Training. My name is Jennifer Stewart. I'm a digital productivity trainer and owner of Gateway Productivity. Today, I want to take you on a tour of Google Drive and show you all of the different things that are available and the possibilities that it holds. Whether you're new to Google Drive or you've been using it for a while, I'm sure that you'll get some nuggets from this video. Before we jump into Google Drive, I want you to understand what Google Drive is and how it works. If you have an account with Google, you have access to Google Drive. You also have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube account, and many more. Google Drive is Google's cloud. That means that it lives on Google servers in another state, maybe even another country. You can use Google Drive to store all types of files, from photos and videos to documents and PDFs, and everything in between. You can also use Google Docs, which is tied to Google Drive, and that is a series of products that Google makes that are similar to the Microsoft Office products. Things like Google Sheets, which is similar to Excel, Google Docs, which is similar to Microsoft Word, Google Slides, which is similar to Microsoft PowerPoint, and Google Forms. You can either create documents using those products inside Google Drive, or you can upload documents from your computer to Google Drive. The beauty of Google Drive is the option to share with other people and be able to collaborate on a document at the same time. Now that you understand a little bit more about what Google Drive is, let's take our tour. To get into your Google Drive, you can put in drive.google.com and hit enter, and it will take you to the Google Drive screen. If you are already logged into your Google account, it will automatically bring you to a screen that looks similar to this. If you are maybe in your Gmail account, you can go to the box of dots, as I like to call it, in the upper right-hand corner right here. And then Drive will be one of the options, and you can click on that. It will open a separate tab, so a separate tab up here at the top. And then that one will have Drive on it. And then if you're in Gmail, it'll keep your Gmail tab open as well. Let's start by going down the menu on the left-hand side. When you click the New button, you have lots of different options. You can create a new folder from here. You can upload a file from your computer, so something that lives on your computer can be put into Google Drive using this file upload option. You can upload an entire folder from your computer if you need to. And then down here are the products I was talking about, the Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Forms that are a part of Google Drive and available to you for free. These same options that we just saw can also be found in this My Drive dropdown. Google gives you many ways to get to things because everyone works differently. When you first come into Google Drive, it will start you in the My Drive area. That means this is the area where you can organize your documents, your folders, and even things that are shared with you, which I cover in a separate video, which I will put the link for in the notes below. If you have folders in your My Drive, you can click on the little arrow to the left of My Drive here on the left, and you can see it has the additional folders that you have inside your My Drive. This is another way to navigate your My Drive. Within the main area of My Drive, we see a few different sections. Let's talk about that. The first section is Quick Access. This is something that Google Drive automatically provides. It shows you everything that you have accessed recently. A lot of people get confused about what's going on with this section. This is really just a view into the documents or pictures or whatever file it is that you have accessed recently. It's kind of like a shortcut. It's a shortcut to those things that you've accessed recently. The actual files live below. The next section that we see is the folders section. And you may not have anything in here yet, and that's fine. We'll talk in a moment about how to create a folder. In the folders section, you can have folders that you've created and folders that are shared with you. And you can see the shared folders by the little person icon that's on the folder right here. The last section that we see is the files. This is the actual pictures, videos, and other documents that you've either uploaded or created. You can choose how to organize this area by clicking on the name, and it'll give you other options of ways to organize. By last modified by me if you have a lot of things that are shared with you. This could be helpful. And then last opened by me. I like to keep mine on name because I'm used to seeing things alphabetically. With those options, you can also choose to have them ascending or descending, and this arrow is how you can flip it back and forth. The last thing I want to show you in this area is how to completely change the view and make it a list view instead of seeing the little pictures as we're seeing now. You can do that by going to the upper right corner right here, and it looks like a list. When we click on that, you can see the quick access stays the same, but everything below turns into a list, and it will always have your folders first. Some differences in sorting this list. You can click on name here and the up and down arrow to change the ascending and descending. And then you can also click on last modified to choose those other options that were up in the corner previously. You can move back and forth between these views as much as you want. Sometimes there's information in the list view that might be more useful to you than what's in the grid view. You can see this has file size, which you don't necessarily see in the grid view. Many people have a question about what the little I in the circle means. Let's click on that to see what it does. Once you click on that, you will see a whole section pop up here that is about the details. And right now, since I don't have anything clicked, there are no details listed. But if I would choose to click on this picture, now we can see all the details about this picture. We can see the size, we can see who owns it, when it was last modified, and you can even add a description to the picture. This can be extremely helpful when you are sharing a lot of documents with other people. Let's continue our tour of the left-hand menu. The next section is the Shared with Me section, and you can always tell where you're located in your Google Drive by looking at what's blue on the left-hand side. So right now we're in the Shared with Me area. As I said previously, there's a whole nother video that I created about how to organize your Shared with Me items, so I won't go into those details. What I will say is that the Shared with Me is truly what it sounds like. It's things that were shared with you, whether you have edit access or just viewing access, they'll all show up here. This is not where you want to organize your files. There is a separate way to get those files into your My Drive, and that's what I would recommend. So be sure to watch that other video to learn that information. The next section that we see is the Recent section. This is similar to the Quick Access section, but it shows you a little bit more. And as a reminder, these are basically all shortcuts pointing to the file that is in your My Drive. So don't be confused and think that you have multiples of all of these things. These are all different views of the same things that all exist in your files. The next section is the Starred section. You can see right now I don't have anything in there. This is a way that you could put your favorites in one place. There's a way to star both folders and documents, and I'll show you that in a moment. The next section is the trash. This is self-explanatory, and it does say here, items in the trash are deleted forever after 30 days. So this can help you with your storage. And speaking of storage, you do have one other section on the left. You can click on this storage button, and this gives you great information about what in your drive is taking up the certain amount of space. If you're getting close to your limit in Google Drive, which you can see here on the bottom left, then you can make a choice to come in here and see what's taking up the most room and maybe do some clean out in here. If you look at these bottom three, you'll see that they are taking up 0 bytes of space. This means that they were shared with me. The Getting Started document was shared with me by Google, so it doesn't take up any space for me. And then the other two, you can see the little arrow next to them indicating that they're shortcuts. That means that someone else owns those, so it's not taking up space on my Google Drive. The last part of our tour will be within this My Drive area. I want to show you the different functionalities you have when you do some right-clicking with your mouse. When you right-click in the folders area, This is a quick shortcut to the things that we were able to do when we clicked New in the upper left-hand corner. You probably recognize the menu with a new folder, uploading things, and creating new documents in Google Docs programs. I find this very easy to do to create my new folders. When you right-click on a folder, you get all kinds of options. I won't go through every single one of these, but the ones I want to highlight is this is a great place to be able to share with other people. If you want to move one folder into another, you can do that using Move To. This is how you can add a folder to the starred area that we saw earlier. This is where you can rename your folder, add a color to your folder, and many other options. The menu when you right-click on a file is very similar. It has almost all the same things. One big difference is Manage Versions. When we click on Manage Versions, it will show us multiple versions if they exist for that file. This can be very handy if you accidentally have something happen to a file and you need an older version of it. The last thing I'll point out is that when you have a file or a folder selected, your menu up here in the upper right area changes. And this is another place to access those same things that we saw with the right click. And you can click the three dots to find even more options. Again, this is that same menu that we saw with the right click. It's just another way to access those options. Now that you understand a little bit more about maneuvering around in Google Drive, I highly recommend spending some time. Upload some files just for play and maybe create some files just to play around and see what that feels like. You can add folders, you can change the colors of the folders, create a whole folder structure for yourself, have fun with it. Make it something that you enjoy so that you're more likely to use it and stay organized. Have you had a light bulb moment from this training? If so, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you have any questions and I'll be happy to answer those as soon as possible. You can also click the thumbs up, or you can share the link with someone who you think could benefit from the information. And be sure to click the red subscribe button below, and if you click the bell icon, you'll receive notifications each Tuesday when new videos are posted. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.